Hi, everyone, and welcome to Backchat. It's been a while. Welcome to Yogaberry, your yoga for scoliosis community. And I can't quite believe it, but this is going to be the last time I'm saying this little thing. And don't panic, I'm going to tell you in a moment why and what is happening. But I can see some of you already joining here me live, which is lovely because I had a little bit of a summer break. As you know, some of you might know that I have moved house, so I've moved further out of London into a little bit more greenery. Can't see it here, but it's actually a lot quieter where I am right now, which is nice. The kids had to change schools and all of that. So yes, it's been a busy summer and now we're a little bit more settled. I'm hopefully going to have my yoga space very, very soon as well, and can hopefully start recording some new YouTube videos as well very soon, because a lot of you have been asking, can you do this video? Can you do an S-curve video? Can you do a left thoracolumbar curve video? So keep your requests coming. I am not ignoring you. I'm making a note of them. And then I'm gonna get onto filming, obviously, as well. Yes, so come and say hello if you're here. If you have any burning questions, I will answer them. Of course, I will try to answer them. I have a few questions, and I came in on the Facebook page and came through messages as well, that I do want to acknowledge. But before I kind of go into them, I'm not going to leave you hanging there. If you're here for the big announcement and you're just like, come on, Christine, just tell me, and then I can get on with my life. So I am currently training to be a Pilates instructor with the APPI. Um, which is the Australian Physiotherapy and Pilates Institute, and they're a fabulous group of physiotherapists who are training me to be a Pilates teacher. It's very anatomy heavy, so there's a lot of studying going on, and I have to do like an hour of anatomy every day. There's a lot of practice teaching and taking classes and all of that. So I'm really, really, really enjoying it. Hi everyone, Laura is here. Laura is saying hello. She's just been to my drop in to my class, my Wednesday class, which is for the Shine members, but you can also drop in if anyone hasn't been to it yet and wants to kind of experience a class with me. Feel free to join us. And yes, Laura is saying it had some Pilates ingredients. Yes. And, those of you who know me, I like to mix things up a little bit. I do not like teaching the same thing over and over again. And I think variety is important. I think a movement variety is important just as it is for your diet, right? You're not going to eat the same thing every single day, even though whatever salad and apples are good for you. You're not going to just eat salad and apples every single day and for the rest of your life. So that is the same, in my opinion, for your movement practice. So I like changing it up. And I think it's very important, especially with scoliosis. Liz is here. She's saying hello from Yorkshire. Thank you so much for taking the time. And then we've got Ragda from Egypt as well. Thank you so much for joining me. Really nice to have you here. So if you have got anything that you want to ask me, feel free, put it in the chat box. So back to my little announcement. So I'm training as a Pilates instructor. I still love yoga. I'm not moving away from the yoga at all whatsoever. I still love it. I haven't fallen out of love with it at all whatsoever. But I did feel Pilates has got a lot to offer for scoliosis. And whenever I was working with my one-to-one clients and my clients on Zoom and in person as well, a lot of the big elements I found was the very, very specific core strengthening that was missing. And if you think about it, those of you, if anyone has been wearing a brace when they were a teenager, right? What does this brace do? It gives you support for your lower body, kind of keeps you in place to support your structure. And this is exactly what we're doing in Pilates with the core strengthening. So again, there's a lot that obviously yoga has and is important. And again, I do think, um, the relaxation part is a big, big part that is very, very important for our nervous system and directly linked to back pain as well. I'm not moving away from it, but the Pilates is going to be a much bigger element in this community, which I'm renaming basically. So I'm dropping the Yoga Berry, even though I loved it because it was linked to my surname, of course, Jaureguiberry. But I'm going to call it Move with Scoliosis. So when you now hear Move with Scoliosis, this is the formerly Yoga Berry brand. I'm just doing a little bit of a rebranding. Everything stays the same. So you'll still find the YouTube channel, hopefully after I've renamed it tomorrow. You would still find all my videos. You will still, the Shine community, all of that stays exactly the same. You would still find my website. You would just be redirected basically to the new place called Move with Scoliosis. Because this is what it is, that what we're doing here is obviously moving with scoliosis. So that's why I decided to change it and give me a little bit more freedom in a way to offer some different names, to offer some different types of exercises. Maybe it doesn't all have to be, your triangle and your warrior one and your warrior two. We can bring in a load of variety of movements, obviously from different modalities. So again, Pilates has got a lot to offer. And if anyone else has got maybe some other type of exercise, I talk about Schroth all the time. So I do like to bring in what I've learned there as well. I'm not teaching the Schroth therapy, not at all, not whatsoever. But there are things that I have learned in there that I can bring into my movement practice. Good, nice. So Liz is saying, that sounds really interesting. I do some Pilates taught by physio from APPI. The class isn't scoliosis specific though. So come to me, Liz, come to me. So I don't know yet if I will be offering, who knows, maybe they let me on their platform, right? On the APPI TV. If they do, great. Then I'll record some Pilates, some scoliosis specific videos, obviously, for them as well. But yes, they are great and they have a lot to offer. And I don't do everything. So we had our second weekend right now. And there were things where I was thinking, oh, I'm going to bring this into my class. And then there's things where I'm like, oh, I'm not going to bring this into my class because I don't think that's appropriate for people with scoliosis. So we kind of look at the things and then we make a decision, right? Good. Rakta is saying she loves the name. Lovely. Savali is saying hello. Good. So this is the big announcement, and maybe this is bigger for me than it is for you. But for me, this is kind of a big step because yes, I've been teaching as Yoga Berry for over 7 years, and again, it's linked to my surname, linked to my family in a way. So yes, kind of making that move feels quite grown up. That's what I say about. That's what I would say about this. But it's all good. It's all positive, and I am hoping that you will all benefit from this as well. That I'm kind of opening it up. And I know most of you who follow me, you are all open to new things, and you're open to variety, and not kind of getting stuck with one single thing. Good. I'm just looking down to look for my questions. So there were a few that came in on the Facebook group that I just wanted to address. But quite interesting, somebody was asking about, sorry, I was just looking for the question about the pectoral muscles. Just give me a second because it disappeared. Oh, there we go. So Kathy was asking, anyone have exercises or stretches that help with pectoral muscles? My high shoulder is pulling and inflaming my pectoral muscles. Thanks. So she got a few answers already in the Yoga for Scoliosis community, which you are welcome to join. I'm not going to change the name Yoga for Scoliosis community. I'm just going to say, have the logo or something somewhere, that so that people know that this is my group that I set up, and it's now called Move with Scoliosis, but I'd still call it a yoga group because that's why people joined originally, obviously. Thank you so much, Sunita. Sunita is saying you have all our support. Oh, that means a lot to me. I did hesitate for a little bit because I thought, oh, what if people just, they don't like it and then they forget about me. But I'm glad you're all here. Okay, so pectoral muscles. Can anyone relate to this? So Kathy is saying that the high shoulder, which I would imagine is her probably thoracic convex side. I'm just taking a guess. I don't know Kathy at all. I haven't seen her X-ray or anything, but that's what I'm imagining is hiked up, and it seems to be rolling forwards. So those muscles here, the pectoral muscles here at the front, they are basically causing her issues. So she is saying pulling and inflamed. I'm wondering if it's maybe tightness that she is experiencing. I don't have kind of more information, but this is what I'm seeing right now, is that maybe they are kind of short and tight. So what I would say to this, and we can do this here in sitting. Actually, it's just a very simple exercise that you can start with. So basically, all those muscles here at the front and at the back, they are helping you with shoulder movements and the movements of the shoulder blades, right? So if you can imagine them as two plates on your back, now when you lift your arm, your shoulder blades should be moving up, right? If you move your arm kind of forwards, they will move out to the side. So whatever you are doing with your arm, I'm doing lots of things right now for those of you who are listening to this, your shoulder blades should be moving along. Now, if one muscle group in this whole kind of section is taking over, then the shoulder blade cannot move properly, right? So it might be stuck in one position. This is also when you get the shoulder blade sticking out, right? The winging shoulder blade. So again, Kathy, maybe this is part of it as well. So it's really important to rehab, which basically just means re-educate the muscles to be able to make all those movements with the shoulder blades. So rather than having, especially if you're saying it's causing you pain and stuff, I kind of don't like stretching for that. I would like more gentle movements for this. So a very simple movement could be just, taking the arms and then rolling them in and rolling them out. So letting them roll in and then letting them roll out. And I'm doing it with both sides, because even though you are interested maybe in your right side, the right side can learn from the left side, if that makes sense, because your brain will understand, this is how it should feel, and this actually feels really good. So we're going to try and copy this on the other side. So this is why I do like sometimes, not all the time, but depending if it's appropriate, to work with both sides at the same time. And yes, they will feel different. But the more tricky side can learn from the other side. So this is a very simple movement. You can then go into opposite direction. Some of you might have seen my Instagram reel that I did about this week, and this is really nice. You could do a movement. So imagine I'm on all fours, so my hands are on the floor, and I'm pushing the hands away from me, and then I'm drawing the shoulder blades onto the back. So I'm pushing away, and then I'm drawing in towards the back. So all these movements help the shoulder blade to find the correct position, the right position. So, and that's where I would start rather than with the stretching. If you do want a little bit more stretching, you could try this. So bringing the arm at a right angle, and you could use kind of a door frame or anything like this, but just don't overdo it. Just be very, very gentle with it. And then, having a little stretch here, or you could kind of do this against the wall as well to just get a little bit more opening and stretch at the front. Good, lovely. Colleen is saying, hi all, we'll be having surgery in the next few months. It will be number 4. Thank you all for being there. Nice to have a community who understands, and thank you for the yoga. It has helped enormously. Thank you so much for sharing, Colleen. And yes, that's what it is here for. It's not just me answering questions, but especially in the Facebook community, we offer each other support. So if you're just having a bad day and you just want to share it, it's there. And that's exactly what we do in the Shine community. So one of our Shine members had some difficult news to share. So we offer support, obviously, as well. So I'm hoping it all goes well with your surgery. Oh dear, surgery number 4. So yes, so I'm pretty sure that some of the yoga and the breathing will help you, hopefully, with some of this, and will help you with the recovery as well. Good. Laura is asking, what do you think about starting doing some exercises, including 2-kilogram dumbbells, in order to strengthen even more the core, arms, and shoulders? Yes, I'm all for it, Laura. I'm all for it. And Beth Terranova, she is my go-to resource for anything like this, for working with weights, because that's not my expertise. However, again, in Pilates, we do work with some light equipment as well. So we might well bring some light weights into the practice as well. But especially as we get older, that bit of resistance, or working with resistance bands and things like this, for bone density, strength is super, super important. And actually, if I may share this, which was actually the reason why it took me down the Pilates route in the first place. It was probably during lockdown number 1, when we were all stuck at home, and I was teaching a lot online. I was sitting a lot, cross-legged. So imagine me sitting cross-legged on the floor. I'm now actually sitting on a chair, but I was sitting cross-legged on the floor like this, looking at my screen. And then in between, I was doing yoga movements, which were most of them were all kind of the typical, your downward dog, some forward bends, even though they weren't like extreme poses or anything, triangle pose, lots of these, but they were all kind of stretching hamstrings and stretching the glutes area. And what I didn't do was anything to strengthen that. Now, we were only allowed to go for 1 walk, obviously, a day during that time. I didn't do any like running, cardio, or anything like that. And during that time, I actually got a lot of problems with my hamstring attachment. So just right underneath the bum. And it was really, really painful. And I went to see I didn't go to see a physio because we weren't allowed, but we did a Zoom session And she gave me some exercises to, strengthen this whole area up. And it kind of got me thinking, oh, yoga is maybe not enough, right? I need to add some other things in. And this is when I kind of started to kind of go down okay, right, we need to add some strengthening. I got myself the magic circle, the Pilates ring, some resistance bands, and started to strengthen up a lot more during the core, in the core. Because at the end of the day, we want our exercise to be a balance to whatever else we're doing at the time. So it's not just I would have stopped to teach my yoga classes or just to sit cross-legged. I just needed something to support that. And that's where this came from. Kalina is saying she'll be joining Shine soon. We would love to see you in there. Absolutely. Good. So Sivali is asking, is taking too much X-ray harmful to the body? Can you explain, please? So just disclaimer, I know most of you know this, I am not a doctor, right? X-rays, as far as I know, yes, they can be harmful, right? So they are, it's radiation, right? So it's not recommended to have lots and lots of X-rays, especially kind of those full body X-rays. It's just not great. So for scoliosis assessments, they say, I don't know, if you need it, go every 5 years or something like that. But very often you don't even, if things are not changing, you don't need to have an X-ray all the time, right? You can do the Adams forward bend assessment. If you go to a physio or scoliosis specialist, they can do it with the scoliometer to measure the rotation. There's the EOS machine that not all the hospitals have got, but some hospitals have those. So that's I think it just uses less radiation. I'm not quite sure about the specifics. But I know, for example, the SOS clinic in London, they have a machine that doesn't use any radiation, but they can still measure your curve and everything. So there are other ways. But yes, is the short answer. I wouldn't have lots of X-rays all the time. Good. I'm hoping that kind of answers your question. Now, the other question I had this week that came up, and maybe those of you are here, if you have time to let us know, was about what's the most kind of common curve, because some people think like, oh, my curve is actually going to the right. Is that normal? So what are the most common curves? And maybe those of you are here, you can let us know. So I have a major left lumbar with a compensating right thoracic curve. So that is my curve pattern. I have asked this question in the Facebook group and I got, I think, 175 answers. I still need to go through all of them, but I can say that probably about 80% of the people in there have a right thoracic left lumbar curve. Isn't that interesting, right? I don't think there is a clear reason why it goes. Some people say it's when you grow and it develops, obviously the heart is slightly over to the left, so the spine kind of develops more over on the right side to avoid the heart. That's one of the reasons I heard. Some people say because scoliosis develops with a rotation, and there's just an inbuilt rotation which develops first, and then it goes over to the side, and it just tends to go over to the right. I don't think there is a clear answer to this, but that seems to be the most common curve pattern. So Laura is saying she's got the same, right thoracic, left lumbar. So for most people, now I'm saying this, and then people are like, oh, but my curve is a left thoracic, right lumbar. And we have a few Shine members. You have got the other way around. It's just a more typical for scoliosis that develops in adolescence. So this is very, very important, because scoliosis that develops as an adult is very, very different. And that tends to be more in the lumbar spine, and it can either go to the right or it can go to the left. So there's no kind of specific direction that it tends to be. So it can be on any side. Then we've got obviously the thoracolumbar curves in my experience, and that might just be um, I don't know, that might be by accident. I don't know why this is happening, but most people that I know have got thoracolumbar curves to the left. I don't know why. It just tends to be that. Okay, so Colleen is saying I have an S, I think, or was, now seems to be a left lumbar curve. Yeah, and they can change. Absolutely, they can change. So some people start off with one curve and then they develop a second curve. And then, they come to me and they're like, oh, actually, I've got two curves now. And then I usually say, well, that's great, because your body is very, very clever. And one curve was just making it really, really imbalanced, and it didn't work that way. And maybe your movement wasn't working so well. Maybe your posture wasn't working so well, and you wouldn't walk around, like a like a leaning tower of Pisa. So it gave you a second curve to compensate overall, to make sure that overall you're balanced. Not a bad thing at all. Good. Barbara is saying right thoracolumbar. So there's me saying they usually go to the left. Of course, they can go in any direction, obviously. Good. That's it. So yes, so scoliosis curves are a little bit, it's very, very difficult to predict what exactly they're doing, but we can very much, there are some common patterns, and there's things that always come up, and we always look at how the body basically adjusts and how the muscles adjust to it. Because again, with our movement practice, if it's yoga, if it's Pilates, if it's strength training, whatever it is, we cannot change the bones. We can change the soft tissues or the muscles, and the connective tissue, but we cannot change the structure of the bones. Okay, Colleen is saying, is it normal to have one leg longer than the other? So this is another one which always is very, very tricky. You can either have a true leg length difference where actually one leg is longer than the other, or it just seems like one leg is longer than the other because of the rotation of the pelvis, right? So if you imagine you have this rotation in the pelvis with the scoliosis, it then just causes a whole chain reaction of things being slightly twisted or turned. And that can make it look like one leg is shorter than the other. So I have had many chiropractor osteopath treatments where they were like, in the beginning, they were like, oh, your leg is shorter than the other one. And then they did some manipulation. They were like, oh, actually, now it's not anymore. So the only way to find out is if you have an x-ray. So yes, it's very normal for that to come up with scoliosis, but it doesn't mean that the leg is actually longer or shorter. It could be, but it might not be. Good, lovely. So these are the big news for this week. There won't be any Yogaberry anymore, or just for my general classes, not scoliosis related. Otherwise, I'm going to be saying it's the Move with Scoliosis community, and we still love yoga. We love all movement. We love all exercise, maybe some more than others. There is still a very big mindfulness I'm not going to drop Shavasana. I'm sorry. Uh, all of that is still staying, but it just won't be called Yogaberry anymore. So if you're looking for me now tomorrow and you can't find me, don't panic. I'm probably busy like changing things in the background. I'm hoping that everything will be running smoothly by Friday, the latest. But yeah, so the new website will be movewithscoliosis.com. Again, even if you land on Yogaberry, it should then take you to the new place. So I'm keeping it. This is my resolution for the future. One of them is to keep the back chats a little bit shorter, to make sure we all get the most out of them and not making them too long. So I'm going to leave it there for today. Thank you so much for those of you who are here live. If you still have questions, Andrea is asking about what therapies do I recommend. I recommend all of them, to be honest. I think it's more about the person rather than what exact therapy it is. Make sure they know about scoliosis, and sometimes you just have to try a few different things. I love my osteopath, who is not far from me. Well, a little bit further now that I moved, but I love his treatments, and that's where I go. So, but I'm not saying that anything else like myofascial release sounds divine. I would definitely try that. Craniosacral therapy, also amazing, but very different experience. I think they're all helpful. Good. Lovely. Thank you so much, everyone. And thank you so much for supporting me. I promise there will be more content. All my Shine members, obviously, you come first and you're well supported. And then obviously hoping to get some more things out on YouTube as well. Good. Lovely. Thank you so much, everyone. And I'll see you soon.